Welcome back to the Webby O'Neill channel. Thanks for joining us for another video. We're going to have a bit of a chat today. If Manchester United can actually push for that top four, but just as we're coming live here now, we've had that injury news update on Lisandro Martinez, and Fabrizio Romano seems to think it's going to be until the end of March at the earliest we see Martinez. So your first thoughts on that?
Well, we've waited for Martinez to come back. Been playing well, couple of games, and then bang, what a blow this is. He's saying that he's not able to get back fitness until the Nationals.
Well, it's until after the international break, so you're looking towards the end of March there at the earliest by the sounds of it.
Big blow this. I thought we was just going to get back to consistency, players all working for each other, and the warrior Martinez, you needed him, we needed him, and at the end of the day, I thought we'd go far with him back in now. Thought the team was going to get back on track. Been waiting this long for players to get back from injury, and this is a severe blow. How they cope with it, I don't know. When you look, I mean, we have got players there with great experience: Varane, Maguire, Lindelof, Evans in the back four. But are they good enough? Will they avoid injury? This is a big blow, and it's a lot of games. And we've got a chance. We have got a chance of challenging for a European place, no shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, but we've seen the drop-off in quality since Martinez has been out the team, and then what he gives you, even in these last two league games against Wolves and West Ham here, and we're now going to lose that. And we've got some important fixtures coming up in the next couple of months, namely on Sunday against Aston Villa.
Listen, we've not had a consistency with all these injuries. We know that, but there's a fight there. There's a belief there. I'm not too sure that we can achieve it, because sometimes you just don't know what you're getting from game to game. That has been a big problem. I just hope that the team, the squad, is together. They've fought the last few games. You can see there's something there, but it's a big doubt now. I've not slept well, to be honest with you.
Why?
Right, because, you know, winning yesterday against Wolves, West Ham, having the win against Wolves, I got giddy. I'm thinking to myself, can we do it? You mean, I don't sleep well anyway, to be honest, when we win or when we lose, even if we draw, because I'm always thinking, can we do this, can we do that? And I've always had doubts about United being able to achieve top 5, top 6 because of the injuries and all the on-off field chaos what we've had. This, I thought, with Martinez, we did have a chance. I'm slight doubtful now.
Yeah, let us know your thoughts and opinions on Martinez. You did say after the match reaction, didn't you, that you didn't feel there was a need for Martinez to sort of go in there, look for the fight?
No.
Because that's what it looked like, didn't it? Like he wanted to leave a little bit on the West Ham player, and then it's come back to haunt him in a way. It
just seemed as though like he only had to like hold the ball, just let it go out and just shadow the man away from the ball. Yeah. But he seemed as though he wanted to get in a fight, which I thought was unnecessary. This injury, to me, is unnecessary. But he's a warrior, he's a fighter. That's what you want in your team. But for that injury there, unnecessary. I didn't think he needed to do what he did.
You've said quite a bit recently, though, that you don't think United will get into the top 4. So did you just mention that you've not been sleeping well because you think they will or they won't get into the Champions League spots? I need an answer off you there, yes or no.
I don't think they will get in the top 4. There's a possibility they could scrape a European place by finishing 5th if things go well in the European competitions for English sides. There is a possibility there. But like I say, I'm not sleeping well because, you know, my head, my heart, my long-term history of following United, watching football and everything else like that, anything can happen. Mid-table side, I was thinking that's where we'll finish. Suddenly, players are back. Even I said last year, wait till the players come back. Eric Ten Hag has said the same. He and I have both pinned it on the injuries coming back, and we'll see a different Man United. And I think we are going to see a different Man United. But the Martinez has put doubt in my brain. I mean, it was late last night after I'd done my interview following the West Ham victory that the Martinez seriousness came about. And I think that's what's affected me sleeping, to be honest with you. And I think I'm going to lose lots more sleep.
Going forward, though, I know this is bad news on Martinez, the length of time he's out. some might say it's a positive, because some out there did think it could be for the rest of the season, looking how the actual injury happened. But looking up top now, Højlund, Garnacho, Rashford even, you know, we're starting to put some rhythm there together and starting to click. So if we're scoring goals, there's always a possibility of winning matches.
I think what you're seeing with the forwards, especially Højlund and Garnacho, is we're putting away our chances. We've had lots and lots of chances in loads of games this year, and we've not put them away. That's been a downside for United's forward line. But we're putting the chances. I'm not saying we're getting loads of chances, but the chances, what we are creating, we're now putting away, which is good. The problem is we're still conceding. Other people can see that we're conceding. Eric Ten Hag has conceded the point that we need to stop conceding goals. Yesterday against West Ham, we didn't concede a goal, and there was chances for them, to be honest. The chances which we expect from free kicks and corners, we are a bit vulnerable when it comes to them. But you know, the crosses and that, Martinez is there. I watched him yesterday, and that's why it's a bit of a blow going for this Champions League spot, whether it's 4th or whether it's 5th. He's there left and right, and he's reading the game and he's cutting it out. Something what's different than what we've had, and what we've had between Maguire, Varane and Evans, to be honest with you.
I think with Martinez anyway, whoever starts alongside him, you always see an improvement on the performance, whether that is Varane, Maguire or even Lindelof. So it could be a point here where we might see Luke Shaw, do you think, maybe go into centre-back alongside maybe Rafael Varane, because we've seen him do it before. But then again, would he then put Delo left-back, someone like that? I'm not too sure. We've seen Amrabat even play left-back at points this season. So will he have to be forced into a change here and put Luke Shaw centre-back?
I think them options are always there, and I think them options will be used. I think we will see it. I think there's more injuries to come. It's inevitable that these players, especially Maguire, Evans and Varane, will pick up injuries. I mean, you've seen there, Varane can't play 3 games in a week, even though we're really only in the FA Cup and the Premier League to challenge, but injuries will come again. So the good thing is, the first part of the season, we have seen players able to move around, and sure, if it comes to it, I've no qualms about him being a central centre-half, either with Varane or Maguire. But I was optimistic last night, and it has kept me, I keep saying it, it has kept me awake, and I'm getting pretty stressed about it.
You need some night nurse, maybe a pint of it.
I need something, but the thing is, if I've looked at I look at Villa and I look at Spurs, and I say to myself, they are catchable. I look at the fixtures, what Spurs have got. I look at Villa, we've got them next. They've got a midweek game, FA Cup. You know, they want to win that FA Cup, so that's going to be a tough game for him. So it gives us an opportunity going to Villa to close that gap on Tottenham as well. But it's the Martinez thing now. And this news now, what's just come out, I mean, we're not right up to date on the news, but we've got the news that he's out and he's not back till the international break. So at the end of the day, it is a problem. Will it be a downer on the squad? I'm not too sure. I think what's happening with the youngsters scoring goals and all that, and the optimism what's around, and especially with Eric Ten Hag, I think we might not suffer at this moment in time.
The thing is with Martinez, so I know he can be a bit of an animal sometimes on the pitch, but he does also give you that calming influence, like he is a warrior. He's a leader as well on the pitch, so you're going to be losing that as well in like an important area in central defence as well. But you know, we have seen Luke Shaw come in at centre back. I don't know where Malacia is with his injuries, whether he's going to be coming back soon, because he could obviously fill in at left back and Luke Shaw moving to centre back. But you know, let us know what you think out there. Do you think we can cope with the likes of Maguire, Johnny Evans, Lindelof centre back, and keeping Luke Shaw left back? I'm not too sure.
I think the key to this is, if there's any swapping around, is actually seeing where Wan-Bissaka is. I mean, excellent defender and that, and you need someone who can tackle and get stuck in without making the mistake, and Wan-Bissaka does that. So I honestly think he's the key to the disruption what Martinez is going to bring to the team, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Asak in the... Oh no, Akash, apologies my mate. Cheers for your super chat. He says, is it me or is the squad depth a massive problem, especially when Martinez, Casemiro or Menu come off? There is a huge drop-off. We did mention that after the Wolves game, didn't we? When them 3 players come off, you're seeing a sort of like a siege mentality at one point when Wolves went down the other end and equalised. You know, all the defenders were up top when you needed someone in there, maybe them type of players like a Casemiro or Martinez to sort of steady the ship and get people back.
I don't think the squad depth is a problem. I think it's been trimmed, right? I think it's been trimmed. No, and let me explain why.
I'm going to let you
explain.
Okay,
let me explain why. When you go and win things, okay, you don't go and play 20, 23 players. You keep to a core of, like, say, 14, 15 players throughout the season who you can rely on, obviously depending on injuries and all that. And I think what this squad has, it knows where it's at and it knows what's coming. It knows the problems, right? And what you see is a togetherness. And I think this squad being trimmed down and having a lot of fringe players, like younger players coming into the squad, right, has actually boosted it, because the older players, shall I say, the experienced players can see the enthusiasm from the youth. So I think having it trimmed down and the squad where it is, it knows where it's at. It knows what it's got to do. There's no ifs, no buts. This is what you've got to do. We're all in it now. The players are back. And I think having a trim squad going into the end of the season now and fighting for something, and they are fighting for something. They're not just fighting for a Champions League place. They're also fighting for a bit of the dignity back after some poor displays. So I think this squad is the right squad to go for it. I mean, going for a Champions League spot, it's not what we all want. We wanted more. We're in the FA Cup. So I think it's good that this squad has been trimmed down and that some experienced players have been loaned out, some youth have been loaned out. And I think it's coming home to roost to some of these players. Last chance saloon for some of them. So it's not a bad thing, to be honest.
I understand what you're saying about squad morale and that, trimming it down, so there's a bit of a bond there between the players. Yes. And we are starting to see that, especially with a lot of the younger ones giving an energy to the first team, like Højlund, Mainu, Garnacho. But, you know, when you got the likes of Martinez out, in terms of quality, there's a big drop-off between Martinez, Harry Maguire, Johnny Evans, Lindelof. You know, if you take Casemiro out of that midfield, who have you then got? Christian Eriksen. For me, he can only do the last 20 minutes of games. The same with Scott McTominay. I think he's still useful for the last 20 minutes of games. But starting games, there's clearly a drop-off in quality with just them two players in Casemiro and Martinez. So, you know, at least we've got Casemiro there in the centre midfield. But again, you know, if we're wanting to not concede goals, Martinez is vital to that. He's absolutely vital, in my opinion, because he's a leader as well. He's a future captain of Manchester United for me. We've said it for a while, and it's a big blow for Manchester United, especially when you're coming up against Aston Villa on Sunday, which is a huge game. Whoever wins that game, for me, gets the much-needed confidence to then go on a roll in believing they can finish in the top four.
Well, if you go back a couple of weeks when you sort of believe in things, you know, I did point out the Tottenham game, the Wolverhampton Wanderers game, the West Ham game and the Aston Villa game. We could easily have lost all four. Yes, the Villa game to come, right? We drew one, we've won two. We could have easily lost all three of them games, okay, on the previous form before the Tottenham game. So you can see something's changed. They've upped the game, and I believe the quality and the way Eric Ten Hag's now working with the team, with the strictness, the standards, the chaos off the field, what's come about with Rashford, I think this squad now is more together. And having Martinez out, and I agree with you, is a big blow and is irreplaceable. I don't think there's anyone to replace him in this squad. But the squad is different than what it was 3 weeks ago. Okay, things have changed. The Ineos situation, Sir Jim Ratcliffe and all that coming in, the new broom sweep, as we call it. Everyone can see things are changing. And I think there's like a little bit of a bounce in the players' steps. And I think the youngsters have helped create that as well. So I do believe when you look at the other teams we've got to face, and especially Tottenham, the way they've got 4 really tough games coming up. I mean, you've got them down there. And to be honest with you, anything can happen. And I think United are in the right place to pounce on any weakness what comes from the other teams. As far as I'm concerned, I think our weakness has gone. I think we're in a battling stage here now. And I think the squad is all one at the moment.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's looking like there's a confidence we've not seen throughout the season, especially in the last couple of games, especially with the younger players, and it's great to see. But we've been mentioning Tottenham, you're looking at their fixtures as well, and you're looking at the last 6 fixtures of the Premier League this season they've got to face, and starting on April the 13th, away to Newcastle, at home to Manchester City, at home to Arsenal, away to Liverpool, then finished off with 2 games against Burnley and Sheffield United. But you look at them 4 fixtures on the bounce: Newcastle, City, Arsenal, Liverpool.
No one
There's
like
some tough fixtures, them, going into the end of the season, when, you know, you do see it with teams, there's a drop-off, isn't there, when they've not got a huge squad packed with quality. And, you know, you're looking at Tottenham, maybe similar to us. You know, what's the quality like after them 13, 14 first-team players?
Listen,
We've only got, really, let's face it, 12 to 14 players we can really rely on to choose from. After that, there's a huge drop-off in quality.
And this is the thing, you never know in football what's down the road, okay? Injuries can keep happening to other teams as well as us, okay? And when you look at them 4 fixtures in April, Martinez is back, okay? Martinez is back. Things can change. All we have to do now is capitalise on what's going on at Manchester United. There's an enthusiasm, there's a willingness to work together, a willingness to run. You've seen Rashford, he's improved his game. I'm not saying he's top-notch or anything. You see Garnacho, the man just is on it all the time. Højlund's bang on it. And if you look at Bruno Fernandes, and I've looked at this, I've not mentioned it, and I've not seen anyone mention it. If you look at the last 3 games, how has he changed his approach to playing 90 minutes football? I have not seen him argue with the referee. I have not seen him running around waving his arms about. Something has clearly changed in that dressing room, in that squad, and in the captain, Bruno himself. Bruno is now encouraging and not moaning at anything. He seems to have changed. I can't remember the last time I seen him running around waving his arms about. Now, he might do it for 1 game, but he never does it for 2 games on the trot. I have now seen, for the last month, him doing what he should be doing. Getting in his place, playing football. Things have definitely changed here, and they've changed with our captain as well. So I think there is a big positive going forward. Attitudes have changed here.
Yeah.
Now, whether it's the Ineos deal, I don't know. Whether it's Eric Ten Hag or whether it's Kobbie Mainoo coming into the team, and people are just excited by it.
Players coming back from injury, like the likes of Casemiro, Luke Shaw and Martinez. And obviously with having Kobbie Mainoo in the team, Højlund starting to score goals now. I think that's what's given the team and the squad a real confidence going forward. But then again, it's just a bit of a setback now with Martinez being injured. But I'm just going into the super chat, and Mick Cypher says, does Eric Ten Hag rely on individuals, not coaching? I think he's definitely coaching these players. I actually thought I seen patterns of play against West Ham, especially in defence. You know, Harry Maguire, you know, Webby said he was man of the match yesterday, but it's an opinion. You know, you've all got your opinions out there. But I ain't seen him even going over to right back for then Diogo Dalot to come into midfield, going into centre back. I seen players interchanging yesterday.
Yeah, we've seen players interchanging that, and you know, listen, Eric Ten Hag over in Holland when he was with Ajax, he gets players interchanging. You only have to look at Luke Shaw, what he did with Luke Shaw, brought him from left back into centre half. You're going to expect things like that with Eric Ten Hag. But what you have to look at with Eric Ten Hag, especially with the players going forward, the under-18s are just winning. So the coaching is coming through all levels of the football, and it seems to be coming back into United. But it's only helped because the injuries are being overcome at the moment, and the confidence is there. I like Eric Ten Hag. He just needs time, and we've got to have patience. If the under-18s are performing, doing proper football, the coaching is going through all levels of football, and it will take time with this first team, as we all know. Will Eric Ten Hag have the time? I don't know. Yeah,
Garnacho as well, touching on him, 19 years old, and he started the last 19 games consecutively.
Well, you look at Eric Ten Hag, you talk about coaching. Lot of complaints last year. Oh, he keeps dropping him.
Though, did you expect Garnacho to start as many games as he has done this season?
Yes, I did.
You did?
I did. And the reason being, I was just going to touch on it there. Last year, everyone was screaming about getting Garnacho in the team. Oh, it's great, it's great. Yes, we've seen the potential for Garnacho last year. But what it was, Eric Ten Hag kept bringing him out the firing line. Didn't want to burn him out, didn't want to put the pressure on him. Young kid, gradually ease him in. Now, we've thought that with 1 or 2 other young players, right? And some of them have actually gone out on loan. But with Garnacho, it was the right. He resisted the pressure last year of keeping Garnacho in the team. When you seen last year people going, yeah, he's the new Messi, he's the new this, he's the new that. Ridiculous for a young kid. No one is the same as anyone else. I remember it with Ryan Giggs, in and out of the side. Ryan Giggs, the new George Best and all that. Ridiculous to compare players. So he kept taking him out of the firing line. And it's worked wonders, because you've seen what's happened. First 4 games, started him, took him out. Now he's undroppable. Yeah, he's undroppable now.
I know you're saying that, and I do agree on last season with Garnacho, but you're looking at Mainu in midfield. You can't drop him. I know he's only 18 years old and he's a young kid, but it's like a duck to water for him. It just doesn't look phased at all. So for me, you know, who would you replace him for?
I'm not saying drop Mainu, okay.
I think he does need his rest now and again.
Yes,
don't get me wrong in bringing off in games or maybe sitting on the bench if he's playing too many games in a row. I do understand that, but for me, it's a first choice midfield of him and Casemiro.
Yeah, listen, Mainu there, yeah. What do you do with him? Do you overuse him? Do we need him? Yes, of course we need him, yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. But you have to remember, he's a young player, a young lad, right? Still growing, still learning. And at the end of the day, he will be dropped. He will be dropped. He won't be dropped consistently. He'll be on the bench, depending on the side and what type of football Eric Ten Hag wants to play against certain teams. So he will be dropped, yes. Bit of a disappointment, but you have to understand, coaching young players, right, you have to have a bit of that as well. And you can't just throw them into the deep end, because it's going to be tough.
Yeah, a lot of people mentioning Garnacho, they're happy with his performances this season.
Yeah.
Finn Horse says he still needs a lot of coaching though.
Yeah.
But you expect that for a young player. But it's going to be exciting to see him develop here at Old Trafford like Højlund, Mainu.
These young players, another 2-3 years for these players, right, to reach what we expect. You have got to enjoy what you're seeing. And what you have to enjoy, right, is these young players trying things. And when it doesn't work, not to criticise. Young players have to try things and experiment with like a pass or a little touch or something, okay? That's what you expect from young players.
Yeah, I totally agree there, because you look at the likes of Højlund, Garnacho and Mainu, they're brave on the ball as well. They do want to take risks, and they can take risks. You know, Garnacho doesn't always get it right out wide. You know, for me, he needs to build on his build-up play and his partnerships with his full-backs as well, of knowing when to use him and when to overlap, underlap, etc. But he's going to learn all that. Well, you know, he's got plenty of time to learn, and it's good what we're seeing already from him.
Well, when you look at the youngsters compared, like, to the established players, Casemiro, McTominay, Bruno, Eriksen, I use them 4 players. You don't want them players experimenting. You want them to do the job, what they're good at. Yeah. When you see them, right, especially Bruno at times, right, experimenting, trying to do a flick or something like that, it drives you mad. They shouldn't be doing that. Leave that to the youngsters. They're in the learning process. You want the experienced players to do the job. And it's down to them to bring them young players on by doing their job. Once they start messing about, the experienced players, right, it all goes to pot. Leave it to the young uns and get it done up there.
It's got to be beneficial for Mainu, though, to have that experience in training and in the matchday squads with the likes of Casemiro, Bruno and even Eriksen, because let's have it, Eriksen has been class in his football career. It's just that it's coming to the twilights of his career, of his legs. Can he do 90 minutes, etc.? But you know, there's a lot of experience there to help Mainu on as well. Listen,
there's a lot of experience there to help all the youngsters on. Yeah. And what you have to, when you look at Mainu, when you talk about Mainu, where he is now at his football, you've got to remember he was out there in the summer, in the pre-season, okay? Eric Ten Hag targeted that Mainu to start at the beginning of the season. So he's actually behind in his development of first-team football. We would have seen Kobbie Mainu introduced at the start of the season. And to be honest with you, we might have seen something else. But in hindsight, thank God he did. I don't say thank God, right? He was injured, unluckily, okay? But so would a lot of other players. Imagine having Mainu in a side what has really been a bit erratic, right? And we've not known from one game to another what's coming. So it might have been like a bit of God's blessing that he wasn't thrown into the chaos of what we're seeing early on in the season. So He's behind in his development of the first team this year, but we can see that he's going to keep developing, which is fantastic. He's the way he drags players into him and then creates the space
Sucks
with the
them
ball. He sucks them in.
Yeah.
And I've seen that against West Ham there more and more than what I've seen previous from him. He sucks them in as though he's not going anywhere, and then he just puts the ball into space.
Yeah.
But the players, the United players are looking for him. And that's the great thing, and you'll see more and more of that.
But you see the United players around him trusting him, though, on the ball. They don't panic as though, like, right, I've got to get over there, create space myself to help him out. It looks like they're all confident in him when he's on the ball to beat one or two players and then get the ball out into attack.
I think what you look at with Kobbie Mainoo's play is that the other United players go looking to receive the ball from Kobbie Mainoo. Okay,
You'd know if the players were panicking because you'd see Bruno further back or at left back trying to help him out, and he's not. He's holding his position high up the pitch as well.
And that's what I've said, and that might be what you've touched on there, why Bruno is playing better, right? And his attitude seems to be different on the pitch because he can rely on Kobbie Mainoo. Like you say, Bruno's not running to your left back. You're not seeing him there. You're not seeing him at right back. You're not seeing him on the edge of the area as much. Okay, you're not seeing him waving his arms, and that's because he's got the trust in what's behind him. That's how I see it.
No, I totally agree with you. Let us know your thoughts as well. Urban Bars, he says, all I can ask for from MUFC players is that they try. We will forgive failure, but not for non-effort.
No, well, listen, we can't forgive non-effort. No way. I've said it on here before, and there's certain players, and I will never, ever forgive them for non-effort. But what you have to look at now, going forward till the end of the season, is the effort, I believe, is there. Because I think players like Kobbie Mainoo, Højlund, Garnacho, they're not going to allow these players not to put the effort in. And as I've said, I think some players have got something to prove. And when you look at that back four, an ageing back four, and a back four what is always injured in Varane, Maguire, Lindelof and Evans, they've got something to prove. And I think the effort is going to come regardless of Martinez's absence. Yes, it's a big worry, but I don't think it's as big as a worry as me losing sleep.
Yeah, just looking at the fixtures, we've got to play until Martinez could return at the end of March. We've got Villa, Luton Town, Fulham. We've got the FA Cup tie as well between either Bristol City and Nottingham Forest, Man City, Everton, Sheffield United and Brentford.
Couple of hard games, some winnable games.
Do you think we can cope there with what we've got in reserve with the likes of Maguire, Evans, Lindelof?
Yeah, I think we can. I mean, obviously City, you know, that's a difficult game, we know that. But the Luton game is turning into a difficult game. Their form has turned round, they're battling, they're fighting, they're scoring goals. You know, it's unbelievable how they've had a turnaround. So that will be a tough away fixture. But there is games there where, when you think about Martinez's absence, okay, we should be able to cope. Yeah. We should. With what we've got there, I don't see any problems. We need to be in a position, by the time Martinez comes back, to be on the coattails of Villa and Spurs.
Yeah, it looks like 3rd of April, we've got Chelsea away, then at home for Liverpool, so hopefully he'll be back for them 2 games at least. Yeah,
well, you just don't know. You just don't know. He might get back earlier. Let's hope so. You know, the diagnosis at this moment, right, is it's bad. But listen, beginning of next week, you just don't know. You know, the swelling might have gone down on his knee. I mean, it was last week we looked at him against Wolves coming off, and it was his foot. Now it's his knee. You know, I just hope he's not one of these players, what is always, because of the type of football he plays, type of character he is, he's always going to pick up injuries.
Yeah, we're definitely going to need him in that run as well. And just to look at the last 8 fixtures we've got in the league, because you do sometimes see with, you know, not a big squad of quality, a drop-off towards the end of the season. We've definitely seen it last season with injuries that we occurred. And you've got Chelsea, Liverpool, Bournemouth, Newcastle, Burnley, Crystal Palace, then you've got Arsenal and Brighton to finish it off. For some reason, I'll keep looking at that Arsenal fixture, the last home game of the season, and I just hope they've not won the league by then, or they come here and win the league on that day. Especially don't want on any of that guard of honour stuff.
Well, you know,
I just have flashbacks. Was it 2002 when they won the league here? Sylvan Wiltord, was it?
Yeah.
I always remember Carnu doing the jump over Wiltord's head. We don't want any of that again, surely.
No, we don't want any of that, and I don't think it'll come to that. I think what you've got to look at here with the team, you know, we're talking about Martinez. Anything can happen. Football's a mad game. Anything can happen. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen with injuries and everything else like that. Look, it's as simple as this. We need a lot of luck going forward.
Of course we do.
Okay, it's simple.
But it's achievable.
No, it's achievable with a fit squad. I'm telling you now, if Højlund gets injured, that's it. That's it. Okay? We've only got one striker. Okay? So that's how things can change. So what we have to look at as a fan is we have to hope that they're injury-free. Martinez gets back as quickly as possible. And if that's a reality, that Martinez gets back and we're still in with a chance of getting there, I think United, with this squad, can push to go for it. Because I think there's a fight. Things have changed. Things have changed.
To be honest with you, I agree there, actually. I think it'd be the biggest blow if Højlund was to get injured. It'd be more of a massive blow than losing Martinez, to be fair. Because where are the goals then coming from?
Well, that's right.
Yeah,
we're getting the goals now, okay? Yeah. So things can change.
Fingers crossed these days.
Yeah, well, that's what you have to do.
But he's also going to have to manage him as well for the rest of the season with Højlund. He can't keep playing him every single game. Or do you think he can do, because with the break that we'll have now midweek?
I think with a big striker like he is, I think he'll want to play every game. He'll want to prove. But I think he will be dropped for 1 or 2 games.
Yeah.
But it just depends. Or he'll start a game and then bring him off as he will. I think that's the only way. If you look at it, he is the centre forward. He is the only centre forward. But at 21, I think he's got the energy and the strength to get through it. I mean, it's not as though like it's Wednesday to Saturday, Wednesday to Saturday, Wednesday to Saturday. We haven't got that, so that's a good thing. So there's a lot of rest periods, and footballers nowadays, they know what to do in the rest periods, except Marcus Rashford. But hey, you know, that's another story.
I know we're talking about getting into the top 4, etc. But if we didn't make the top 4, didn't make the Champions League places, but won the FA Cup, what would you regard that as a season?
If we won the FA Cup, I'd be amazed with the way the season's gone, and I would also be amazed if we got a Champions League place. Yeah. You know, because you have to look at the facts, what's gone on, the carnage and the chaos on and off the pitch. You know, the injuries, you name it, the lot, players' behaviour. I mean, there's been lots of bad players' behaviour, the way the club's been run, the attack on the club, Ineos coming in. Manager might even listen. The manager is under threat. A new regime is coming in to deal with the football inside of football. So with everything in place, if we get to the FA Cup final, that'll be fantastic. Fantastic. Whether we win it is a different thing. Getting a Champions League place, that's a different thing. But getting a Champions League place, what does that actually mean? We just finished bottom. We just finished bottom of the Champions League, right? So getting in the Champions League is then down to, well, going into the Champions League, we need players.
Well, we've not been past the quarter-final stage in the Champions League since we got to the final against Barcelona. Was it 2010, that, roughly?
Yeah, but that's a long, long time ago.
You know, we're just making up the numbers, so to speak, in the Champions League with no real threat of actually getting there or challenging into the later stages like the semis and the final. So
we're ticking boxes.
Yeah.
We're box tickers.
Yeah. We're not really competing in it.
Oh, Man United, yeah. They're in the Champions League again. Box ticked, right? But not doing anything. Well, Ineos, listen, Ineos are in. If we get the Champions League, Ineos are here to make big changes. They want it. That's what they're saying. Yeah. Well, if we get the Champions League, I think we'll all be surprised. All be surprised. Ineos themselves. And then what did they do then? Well, we'll have to wait and see, won't we? Because we don't know.
Yeah, I think it's take it one game at a time. Me personally, anyway, because you know injuries like this can affect you, like with Martinez. Hopefully, we don't get any more, and hopefully, he can come back as soon as possible. But we just thought we'd have a bit of a chat today, you know, all-round chat on anything to do with Manchester United. But let us know your opinions on the top 4. Do you think it is achievable for Manchester United this season to finish in the top 4 or the 5th spot? Hopefully, that spot does come available for the English teams if we do finish there. But yeah, just let us know your overall opinions on that. If you've enjoyed today's video, please smash a like on it, help support the channel, and we'll be back tomorrow with another video. You enjoy the rest of your day, Reds, and we'll see you again soon.